Well, yeah, Villanova's a great opponent. They've had a really good year despite losing the Player of the Year, and they have the leading scorer in the league in Lucy Olson. So we're gonna have to play well. I thought the first time we played them, probably neither team played their best. We played okay, but we came out with a win, and coming off a loss, I think it's important that we bounce back. I feel like anytime you lose, even if it's to somebody as good as Connecticut, you have your players' attention. I think that'll be the case. I thought that was the case yesterday, and hopefully be the case the next couple of days. And as far as it being a pink out, I think, I say everybody's had somebody in their life touched by cancer, affected by cancer. They've lost people to cancer, and so I think it's just a great opportunity for us to be reflective about, what a day like Saturday can do in terms of awareness and money. And, there are so many more stories of people whose lives have been lengthened in the last 20 to 30 years because of cancer research. So it's just hopefully another step in that direction.
By the way, I'm Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren, you're from Lincoln.
Lincoln, yes.
Yep.
Nice to meet you. Speaking of flushing out that loss, just how have you seen the girls respond? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, they didn't have a choice because I was a little meaner than normal yesterday, just because I feel like it gives you an opportunity, and I said matter-of-factly, let's use it as an opportunity to get better. Let's use it as an opportunity to hone in on some details that we haven't maybe been as good at correcting. And so I'm going to be a little pickier and a little harder on you today, and hopefully you're okay with that, because the goal is to improve. And even through the 11-game winning streak, as a coach, that there are things that we're not doing at the rate or with the precision that we need to, but sometimes that gets drowned out by the fact that you keep winning. So I think it's a good opportunity to not only get better, but also know that we play a really good team. I mean, Villanova's right now a bubble-type team. They have a lot of players who played last year on a Sweet 16 team, so they know how to win, and we've got to be good to prepare to be able to win on Saturday.
You went into that UConn rematch curious to a degree,
yeah,
based on the way the first game went and the streak you guys have put together afterwards.
Yeah.
How much growth did you, now realize after seeing the rematch and assessing it on film and putting that gap of time together?
Yeah, I thought we were quite a bit better, but in fairness, I felt like the fact that we lost by 44 the first time made it pretty easy to exceed the bar that we were at when we played them earlier. But I thought we had really good stretches defensively, and we took reasonable care of the ball. It's just they made a couple really good individual plays in the third quarter, and then I just thought we got sideways and couldn't get out of it at either end really for 5 or 6 minutes, and then the game was over because you're down 15 and the crowd is in the game. And so a lot of good, but also some disappointment that when we had 5 seniors on the floor during that stretch that we didn't show more poise. And again, I could have called a timeout earlier. I should have called a timeout earlier and probably used a couple timeouts, but at the same time, even after the timeout, we didn't come out and execute. So in a lot of ways it's good, because I think we know that we played better, and we know that the gap maybe isn't what it was a month and a half ago, but still a stretch to get there when you ultimately lose by 20.
With Lucy this year, and just seeing her now once in person, and obviously the body of work she's put together throughout the season, what stands out to you as the way she's kind of taken the reins after being kind of an auxiliary piece to Mandy last year?
Yeah. Well, first of all, she plays really hard and with a great motor. The more you watch her on film, the more you're like, wow, that kid doesn't get tired. She's asked to do a lot at both ends, and she kind of sets the tone for them. Even defensively, I think she's really good. And you want to say, well, if you're scoring 22 a game, you're probably she makes the right pass a lot of times too. So I feel like she's not being selfish, averaging the number, because I think she's still a really good passer. So, and then she's getting everybody's best defender. She's getting more attention from people off the ball, and yet she's still scoring right at that 22 to 23 point a game mark. So her efficiency's gone down a little, like she hasn't shot the three as well lately, but she's really good for 5'9". She's really good off the dribble. She's really good at the rim, and she's really good in the mid-range. And like I said, she plays at a pace the whole game, which is, pretty impressive. That I don't feel like she's tired in the fourth quarter, even though she's had to carry a bigger load than most people for those first three quarters.
During this last stretch of games, how do you challenge your team? What do you tell them to get better at?
Well, we've kind of decided we're going to take one practice a week to try to get better, and then we're going to then the other practices we'll prep. So we're actually telling our practice boys to ratchet it up half a notch, not get reckless and hurt somebody. But, I said one of the things when you play UConn is it's faster at both ends. I mean, they speed you up on defense when they're on defense, and they're playing at a really fast pace on offense. And so I think the only way to replicate that is maybe to even ask our practice boys, because we put restrictions on our practice guys, but to take off some of those restrictions without having them be reckless. Because I do think and we're going to try we did that yesterday. We'll do that once next week. We'll do that once the following week, where we're going to ask our practice guys to really get after us and make us have to execute with even more pressure and more duress, so that we can hopefully play them again. But it's going to help us for Villanova too, because Villanova is a really good team.
Besides obviously coming away with a win on Saturday, what else do you want to see your team execute? I think get back to being a little bit more detailed defensively. I think that's where I felt like, certainly we didn't shoot the three very well against Connecticut, but if we're going to go win 3 games in the conference tournament, or if we're going to make an impact in the NCAA tournament, we're going to have a night where the ball doesn't go in. And I just felt like, we could, with starting 5 seniors and playing 5 seniors as much as we do, defensive breakdown should be pretty low at this point of the year. So you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be quite as good as you want as a coach to be, but just being as tight as we can be defensively, especially when teams inside and out. Now we're playing teams. We've played everybody once, and by the time we get to March, we'll have, in the conference tournament, it'll be the 3rd time we've played somebody. So just being super tight on the defensive end.
The last 4 home and home versions of this series, have been all one-sided for the road team.
Yeah. Don't remind me of that.
I'm just saying, I'm curious how you buck the trend of the road team coming in and kind of getting away with a comfortable victory.
Yeah, I think we've got to set a tone early for sure, because I think this is the biggest game of the year for Villanova. They probably have to beat us either now or in 2 weeks to get into the NCAA tournament. So I know they'll be ready to play. And they lost last weekend to Butler at home, and watching their Providence game from last night, I felt like they played really hard early, especially. And not that they didn't for 40 minutes, but I thought there was an even greater sense of urgency in the way they played last night, early especially. And I expect them to bring that on Saturday. So we're going to have to match that early. I mentioned defense, but we have to stick to the offensive game plan. We do have to play a little bit more inside out against these teams where we can score inside. We can score inside on Saturday. And if we just chuck up threes without at least exploring inside, that's a recipe for not giving us the best chance to win.